Great. Well, thank you for the introduction. And as Sion mentioned, we are System 1 Research. Up until recently, we were known as Brain Juicer. I am stationed in Chicago, and I work on the P&G account in North America. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about the double bind of market research and the journey for insights innovation at P&G. All right, so we all want to be here with innovation. We all want to win. And there is sometimes a common perception that, if we just try hard enough, invest enough time and resources in initiatives, that they can succeed. However, the reality is that you need failure. Some of the most successful innovations in the world have been through a journey of failure, iterative learning, testing, and learning from that failure. And so unfortunately, failure is a part of life when it comes to new innovation. So Dyson. Dyson is a great example of this. The founder of Dyson, Sir James Dyson, he realized that there was a problem with the vacuum cleaner. He noted that the common vacuum cleaner, as the bag fills up with dust and dirt, it loses its sucking power. And so it's just not a good model. And he was very passionate about fixing this problem. So one day he was out and about, and he saw a factory that had an industrial machine blower. And he thought, hey, there's something to this. There's something about the way that this machine works that can process tons and tons of dust and dirt very efficiently. So he went upon a journey to try to emulate that and to try to develop a better vacuum machine. And he actually went through 5,000 different prototypes, over 5,000 different prototypes, before he found a combination that worked successfully. Now, today, Dyson is a company that has $2 billion in revenue, and they've expanded this insight across a vast array of different products. If any of you went to the bathroom today and washed your hands, you might have seen the hand blowers in the bathrooms, and they were very likely Dyson products. Another great example is Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison was probably one of the earliest proponents of iterative learning through failure. And while Thomas Edison wasn't the inventor of the light bulb, he set out on a quest to make it commercially viable. I think that we can all agree it's a wonderful thing that the organizers don't have to change the light bulbs every 15 minutes after each presentation in this room. Back in the day when Thomas Edison was first started working on this, that was actually the frequency that light bulbs would burn out. So Thomas Edison went on this quest to perfect the light bulb, to make it commercially viable, to allow us to stand here today. And he realized that there was something about bamboo that would make that work as a filament. And he actually went through, some people say, up to 6,000 iterations of different variations of bamboo. And in 2017 dollars, he actually spent $2.3 million sending people out around the world to find different filaments, different variations of that, to help him in his quest to fail to succeed. But the reality is that failure is dangerous for careers. There is a lot of pressure for us all to succeed, for us all to win. And most organizations have a mindset that's very focused on short-term profits and share gain. Market research has also been very change resistant. We've been reluctant to re-examine existing methodologies. We've been very reluctant to discard large databases that have traditionally measured the wrong metrics. So now I'm going to turn it over to Sion. Sion is going to talk about our predictive markets methodology, which is our methodology for testing, screening, and validating the potential of ideas. And it's really given P&G a safe space to fail.
Yes, so it's, I wanted to talk about how difficult it is to change paradigms. And that picture of pushing the donkey, it's very telling. 10 years ago, I piloted this methodology of predictive markets. As some of you might know, it's a very controversial, it was a very controversial methodology because it was not that which were the thing that you are going to buy. No, you're trying to see which of these ideas or products you think that is going to be the most successful in the market and the least successful in the market. And not only that, but it's you're not talking with your target consumer. It's the whole population. And we launched a new plugin, Firis Noticeables, which alternates between two different scents. A very disruptive product because only single-scented plugins were available in the market. And we had 10 months of the in-market data and sales. We run this, we got like the probability scores from this, and we got like a lot of correlation. It was like we couldn't have asked for a much better piece of data showing that predictive markets was indeed reflecting what we were seeing in the market. So this was like mind-blowing. And the key thing of this, even with positive data, it took us 10 years for P&G to adopt the methodology and to try it. And Nathan is going to share a little bit more of where we are. But it's very important for us to be passionate and tell like the story of what these new methodologies are bringing to the table. What is like different. It takes like a lot of time, and then you need to reach an inflection point of enough people using it, enough people, enough examples, enough case studies of successfully using this and unveiling and driving knowledge that drive action, so that then you can start like having this growth. And that's applicable not only for market research methodologies, but also products in the market. You really need to be patient to reach this inflection point and make like a huge S-curve, changing the S-curve. So changing paradigms is very, very difficult, but when you have a good methodology, it just takes time.
Thank you, Sion. Thank you, Sion. A couple other things to keep in mind is that that in this process, obviously it's very important to learn from failure, to be open to failure. But you know, with this S-curve, one of the other things that is often a struggle is in the client side and even at P&G is when you do have an idea that shows signs of potentially having cascading growth, to really have the confidence and the courage to progress forward with that. That can be just as difficult sometimes. So as Sion mentioned, change, it requires early adopters. Change and innovation both require that we have early acceptors, and we have been very fortunate early on to have a number of people at P&G who really intuitively knew that they found a better way to test and screen ideas, and they took a chance with us. So a few things to keep in mind with this whole process. Number one is that the process is essentially prototyping, testing, failing, and learning from that, being open to both failure and success. And you really have to have a Darwinian mindset when it comes to testing and knowing that you're going to have certain ideas that fail, but you're going to learn from this. So what we do is we have provided an open space, a safe space, to really do that at an early stage. And our motto is test often and test early. All of this requires a couple things. It requires persistence to fail, to learn from failure, and it requires passion for this whole endeavor. It's very easy to want to give up and to say, okay, this path forward is too hard. So in the immortal words of Winston Churchill, never give in. I believe Han Solo also said this in Star Wars, so take your pick. And that leads us to today. As an organization, we had our own challenges in innovating and failing and coming to where we are today. We were one of the earliest market research companies to adopt behavioral economics and to make that the focus of our research. We've now tested over 50,000 ideas globally in 60 markets, and with P&G alone, almost 2,500 ideas. And P&G as an organization, I think, should get a lot of credit for they have gone in this journey from an organization that was barely adopted and barely cognizant of behavioral economics, behavioral science, now to a point where they have fully adopted behavioral science as a gateway and as a benchmark for different market research techniques, but also as the basis of brand and marketing strategy. And that concludes our journey. Does anybody have any questions?